Oh, something different.
Welcome back to Something Different. As we continue to look at lessons from the elder son, the second lost son, I'd like for us to examine the sin of self-righteousness. You see, the sin of self-righteousness is probably the most deadly sin. Really, Bishop? Why so? Because it is the most deceptive. The sin of self-righteousness can be easily justified in one's mind. The sin of self-righteousness causes us to assess ourselves by comparing our actions with those of others and then viewing ourselves better than them. But even when we do right, we should remember that it is not of our own power. What does the scripture say? Philippians 2 and verse 30 says, "For it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure." It means that even our doing right cannot be ascribed to our own goodness or power. It is God who gives us the will to do it and gives us the ability to do it. So how then do I see myself as better than others? Jesus spoke most frequently about the sin of self-righteousness. And you will notice that he was a whole lot less tolerant of the self-righteous scribes and Pharisees than he was of the drunkards and the murderers and the harlots and the adulterers. Why? Because those other sinners would usually readily recognize that they are sinners. They would readily recognize that they are making a mess or they are doing things that God is not pleased with. But the self-righteous person feels that he's gotten it right. He is not like those others. You remember that Pharisee with the prayer? "I'm not like other men, extortioners and adulterers, etc." Yes, that's the problem with being self-righteous. If we look at that story of the Pharisee praying compared to the publican whom the Lord said simply smote his chest and said, "Lord, be merciful to me, a sinner." It seems like an exact replica of the first and second son, which actually would be the younger and elder son. The younger son, when he came home, he says, "Father, I have sinned. I have sinned against heaven and you." Daddy forgave him. The second son says, "I am not like that boy of yours. I have slaved and I have obeyed your command and I have been here all the time." The sin of self-righteousness is one that pushes us far from God because it comes out of a place of pride. And the scripture says the proud he sees afar off. We have to be so very careful of the sin of self-righteousness. Be careful how we look down on others because we believe we are living a better Christian life than them, because we do not have the issues they have. Oh, and by the way, it is easy to fall into the sin of self-righteousness. Because sometimes we become self-righteous by looking down on those who are self-righteous. We are so busy condescending to them and looking down at them because how can you be so self-righteous? Not realizing that in the same breath, by those very actions, we too are being self-righteous. I invite us to examine ourselves because we may be lost, not eternally lost, but lost like the second son, not finding our way to true relationship with God that comes from a place of humility and love. Let's talk about it today. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. God bless you.
Oh.